Hello and welcome to the ESL Pro League Season 4. It's match day number 15, the North American Division. Elfish Guy, we're going to start off today with Renegades up against compLexity. Renegades having a pretty good season, to be perfectly honest. compLexity, not so much, but yesterday we saw them take down Echo Fox in overtime.
Yeah, look, they had a reasonably decent day yesterday, actually, getting the 1-1. So, to be honest, compLexity coming into this one looking okay, although similarly, Renegades coming into this one have looked fantastic. And the last time that I got to actually cast Renegades, they lost 0-2 to Immortals. So, personally for me, hoping for them to have a bit of a better result today. But they definitely seem to be on a bit of a good track record over the last 12 maps that they've played. They've won 11 of them. So, definitely looking strong coming into this one, Renegades.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're almost ready to get underway. Straight into the game here on the pistol round. We can... almost ready to get underway.
Looks like we missed the pistol round.
Yeah, BL.
compLexity picked that one up, and now Renegades trying to win the subsequent... Well, perhaps they forced into this, it looks like.
Yeah.
Because JKS has got head armor there, and obviously Yam, potentially the one to pick up the AWP if they had have won that round, didn't buy armor. But regardless, let's have a look and see how this one turns out. Now a 2 versus 2 retake as Renegades is going to be able to take down Yam, and now it just comes down to poor old JKS in a 1v2, and the Deagle not going to be enough for him in there in that situation. Surreal picks up the kill. Yeah, AndroidX looked pretty good yesterday. So did Ape for compLexity. So those two, I think, for me, are the ones to really look forward to seeing go big today, potentially for compLexity. On the side of Renegades, JKS apparently, as of late, has been having some pretty good pretty good performances. So, of course, he's always one to watch. But as are usually quite consistent as well for the Renegades, he'll be another key player.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of Azer.
Azer.
Yeah. And,
AZR.
Yeah. No, the Renegades team have been playing well lately, and you can call me a biased Australian, but, you know, up until recently, their results hadn't been great over in the North American region, and globally, I suppose. And 7 wins, 5 losses coming into today is actually pretty good, to be fair. Ranked 6, as we can see there on the ladder. And I think overall, they would be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Although they won't be particularly happy with how this one has started off. No. They're going to be losing this third round, you would expect. Def is going to be able to take down Ustillo and the A-bomb site completely under control of compLexity right now. Of course, Renegades wouldn't have expected much into this round, given that they only had those pistols.
Yeah, so 3 rounds on the board here for compLexity. Pretty easy start. So we missed a little bit, but in reality, we haven't missed much because we're into the action now with this gun round. And yeah, a double AWP setup. Ricky and Yam ready to go. 2 of the top AWPers from the Australian region. And, they're on the same team.
They definitely are, and they've been on the same team before, playing for Immunity together before they were on Renegades together, and they were a good double ult setup in that lineup as well. Dust2 definitely going to be favourable for this double ult setup here for the Renegades, and well, we'll see how it starts off. Ricky and Yam going to have to come up with the goods in this round. compLexity looking good in terms of their buy as well, though. They have a full buy, full utilities as well, and at the moment have not decided to go too aggressively into any positions. Yeah, I'm just holding off on short. As of yet, has not spotted out any of those compLexity players, but perhaps very soon going to be meeting a bit of a challenge. Although Ricky looks like he's going to be the first one to take a duel, does lose it. Well, only by 5 HP as Def's gone down to 48.
Yeah, you're still going to get tagged up in the mid as well. He's going to have to fall back just a little bit. Def continuing to fire through those doors there. And Yam, there we go, finds the first frag onto Abe up on short. So they will drop the bomb carrier. Eventually, Ustillo goes down as well. Going to get burnt out there by Def. Back to a 4-on-4. 47 seconds on the clock. Perhaps a mid to B split here coming out. And there's 2 players up on this B site.
Yeah, JKS has done well to get that one. And the window now in control of compLexity, but only for a short moment as Ricky will take down Def. But AndroidX makes 2 very nice entries onto that B-bomb site, allows that B site to open up a little bit here for compLexity, but Renegades are now starting to rotate across. That's a great shot onto Yam, and Uber picks up Azza. So a little disappointing there for Renegades after getting those initial 2 frags on the B site.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a really good round coming out here for Renegades. They started well, but AndroidX23 just straight in. And 1, 2, 3, finding 3 individual 1v1s. And to be fair, 2 of those frags were very, very easy.
We have seen him looking good yesterday, and he's definitely been able to come into today and has looked good within the first few rounds that we've been able to witness so far. Again, another eco coming out here for the Renegades, and compLexity just going to be working along with the AKs, and it's going to work out quite well for them. Yam just peeking right into the sights of Def there. Surreal is going to spot out a couple more of these players. We'll take down Azza, and isn't going to be able to get much more than that. As the AWP is going to go now into the hands of JKS.
Yeah, nice little rush coming out there from Renegades. Still 3 alive for them, and Ustillo maybe with this D can find a frag. There you go. Android X23 gets picked up. He'll find himself a weapon as well. The bomb plant goes down, and the retake probably a little more than we can expect here from Renegades, but let's see what they choose to do. The potential to carry these weapons just into the next round, but at the moment they're going to push the smoke here on short.
Definitely seems that way. Might not be the greatest decisions, as Uber is waiting behind the smoke, and a good pop flash from compLexity there does get him a couple of frags. Ape was able to close out the other one. compLexity looking good now into round number 6. 5-0 on the board. Time for Renegades really here to bounce back, and they've gone for the double up setup once again.
Yeah, well, investing heavily into round 6, and look, I don't blame them. The first time it worked okay, they just kind of let it slip out of their fingers in the end. The initial use of those 2 AWPs wasn't too bad, so they can avoid making those mistakes. Ricky, we can see pushing up onto short once again, and he sees 2 players, but doesn't manage actually to get a frag onto either. Yam pushes forward into upper dark, finds Android, and that'll allow them to take control of upper duck if they push all the way through, and they can see that there's no one there at the moment. They know that there should be a couple of players downstairs as well, and Yam finds Ape straight away.
Drops the bomb as well, so lots of information there for the Renegades. Yam is going to peek the 3rd time, and he'll pick up a 3rd kill as well. Some great stuff from Yam in this round with that AWP, definitely making its worth. Uber's going to try and get the trade, but in the end, not going to be able to land the shots, and the smoke's going to come in here from the Renegades just to slow things down. Still 57 seconds on the clock here for compLexity, and Uber's actually going to push through the smoke. Let's see what he can do. Does spot out one, picks up Azza, looking for the second onto Yam, and does manage to get that one as well, but luckily for the Renegades, JKS is there for the trade as well, and because that bomb was spotted so early, all the Renegades really just hanging around in that sort of direction.
Yeah, that was great use of the smoke there from Ape. He was in a 3v1 and managed to find 2 frags. So, whilst the end result for the round will most likely be a Renegades victory, overall, that wasn't so bad considering how it started. Surreal here with this AWP, the last one left for his team, and he's going to get flashed out here, and they should find the frag. There we go.
Not a bad round overall there for the Renegades. They've managed to take those 2 AWPs through to this round. And they'll continue the use of those. Yam and Ricky, again, going to be taking them away. As has probably had someone drop for him. Yes, he has. And really, compLexity going to be buying into this one, but their economy's not looking that great in reality. Even after winning 5 rounds in a row, they've lost a few players in all of those rounds, so it's not looking so great for them. Next round, if they lose this one, it's going to be an eco.
They're going to rush out here onto the B side. JKS, he's in an okay spot, but that's a great flash. A lot of time to work with here. Pushes through, finds a frag, finds the second. He's a 3rd. Won't get the 3rd. Yam did find Ape in the meantime. And now there's only 2 players left here for compLexity. The bomb sitting on the site, but no one in possession of it. Azza finds the frag, and that's the round. Great work from Renegades. 4 still alive for them. 2 AWPs still. compLexity, we take a look at their money now. Not looking so great.
Yeah, and again, another pretty good round coming out there for the Renegades. They've started to look quite a lot better just in those last 2 rounds. Seem to be just slowly kicking into gear here on Dust2. compLexity now struggling, as you mentioned, for the bye. And coming into this one, we should expect to probably see a 5-3 in the favour still of compLexity, but things starting to look a little bit better for Renegades as compLexity now charging through that Molotov. Haven't managed to find the first frag though. They do eventually get one onto Ustillo. In the end, it's a 2-for-1 trade in the favour of Renegades. Def down to 4 HP. Has got an AK to work with, but that grenade is going to drop it out of the hands of Def, and Surreal's going to try and secure it, which he does manage to do, and takes down Azza. Has to reload before he can get the shot onto Yam. Now 3 players alive still for the Renegades. Another good round coming out. Only losing a couple of guns, and again, the double AWP setup continues through to the next round.
Certainly does. compLexity, to be fair, not a bad rush down to long A. A little bit of damage, probably about as good as they could have hoped for. And they'll be buying back into this round with 1 AWP and 4 rifles coming straight on out. They're going to have to work out a way to get around this double AWP setup coming out from Renegades as well. Because sure that they found it the first time, but that was more so from a few good shots from Android X23 than it was from good planning. So see how they played this one out.
As of yet, compLexity haven't done a whole lot. They've just been playing relatively safely. Android X has gone down in towards lower tunnels, just peeking around in that direction. But really, compLexity don't have control across the majority of the map. Renegades pushing somewhat aggressively up into short here. Loazza is going to be blocked off by that smoke, so he's going to fall back after throwing a grenade, which hasn't really done all that much damage over to compLexity anyway. It does look like compLexity perhaps setting up for a mid-take here.
As they're sitting down in CT ready to go, but maybe a short B push is what we're looking at. Justillo with John in the spot here. He's going to drop back off after doing just a little bit of damage. Surreal pushing up with this AWP, and they've got numbers out towards this side. Renegade's going to have to rotate back around, perhaps play the retake. Let's see how this goes. Justillo goes down straight away. Yam holding back, and Azza downstairs. He might get found out as well. There we go. Goes down. It's 3 onto 5 now, and Renegade's in a difficult position. Yam, he'll get caught out as well down long A. And that leaves JKS and Ricky, one of them with an AWP. JKS gets one, won't get the second though. Def cleans him up. And Ricky, the last one, left alive with his AWP. And he's going to hold on to that one.
Well, that was certainly an interesting shot from JKS, but not enough really. compLexity going up short this time. They haven't actually gone up there on a proper gun round really against Renegades for a little while, so it's definitely worked out for them. That B site was being held down by Yam, and they've decided, well, let's head over to the A site. And that's worked out quite well for compLexity there. Ricky going to be the only one to take a gun through to the next round here for the Renegades, although they should have enough money to rebuy.
Yeah, that was a good play coming out from compLexity. They smoked off short A, and that prevented Yam. I think we'd seen him push up a few times there with the AWP looking down to lower dark. And Ricky finding a frag there onto Def at the end. So let's see where these weapons end up. Are we going to see a single AWP coming out this time here? For Renegades, not much money to work with by the looks of things. And Ricky, one AWP on the ground. Yep, can see that one. So they're going to continue on with this double AWP. WAWP. W.
Getting a little bit tongue-tied, but let's see what happens here for the Renegades as compLexity charging out onto long. It's a 1-for-1 trade at the moment, as it was able to take down 8, but similarly, Justillo has gone down now for the Renegades. Still the double AWP in play, and Def is going to jump into pit there. No one from Renegades actually covering off long for the moment. They're content to let compLexity get up there pretty safely. Also, at least get towards that A-bomb site, but compLexity are actually more than keen to get out of that A-long area for now, and perhaps execute back over onto the A-bomb site.
1:10 on the clock. 4 players alive for both sides, and yeah, as you say, there's just Def down there in pit waiting. The remainder of his players are going to try and push up through short again. Surreal finds Azza straight up, goes for the second shot. That Molotov going to do a little bit of damage, but really not that much. Def now pushing out from the other side of A, and he might catch a couple of these players out. No, not as yet. They all drop down into CT. And allow compLexity here onto this A site.
Retaking with a double AWP here is probably not going to be an ideal situation for Renegades unless they had got an easy pick or something like that, but wasn't the case, and they decided just to fall back to the B side and save their guns into the next round, which I would say is a pretty good decision, but really at this stage they've actually let compLexity get to 7 rounds so far on that T side, and well, that's a pretty good result already for compLexity. Renegades really need to start to fight back into this one, and we did see a brief flash of those 3 rounds where Renegades looked really good and compLexity seemed to have no answer, but once compLexity was able to find something in one of those rounds and come back into it,
well, that's it.
Renegades again have just crumbled.
3 rounds is pretty quick to work that out, work out what they want to do against these 2 AWPs, and they're now having success against that setup, so Renegades maybe need to go back to the strat book here and decide what they want to do, change it up a little bit, because what they're doing right now, unfortunately for them, is not working. compLexity, 7 rounds on the board, as you say. They've got 3 wins, 7 losses in this competition, but yesterday they did well on their second map against Echo Fox.
Yep.
Look, if that same team turns up here,
Renegades
maybe, yeah, in a difficult position, but this force in coming from Renegades behind the 2 AWPs that they saved from last round, has found 2 quick frags here.
Definitely looking like a little bit better of a round here for Renegades, and it seems that wherever Yam goes and whenever compLexity pushes into Yam, he's able to answer the challenge quite well. As of yet, the rest of the Renegades maybe not having the best of times, but definitely Yam holding the flag strong for the Renegades at the moment. And still 3 players alive here for compLexity, so it's not over in this round, but the Renegades will be feeling pretty good about this one. They've managed to actually get an AK into the hands of Ustillo, who was only running away with the Deagle at the start of the round. Overall, it's been a pretty good start into this one for the CT side.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed to do. They really can't afford to let compLexity get away with any more rounds here. And JKS is going to find one frag from Lower Dark. Almost gets the second. He does. And that should be the final frag of the round there to Azza. And look at that. Only losing JKS. So a great force into that round coming up from the Renegades. And perhaps catching compLexity a little bit off guard. They pushed just a bit further than we'd seen them do earlier. And the end result was a round win here. So
yeah, and immediately compLexity back onto the eco. Renegades, in the rounds that they've been losing, have actually managed to be able to stick with a couple of weapons for the most part. They've only had to eco once so far, but compLexity, this will be their second eco of the half, and well, their economy's obviously not working out quite as well as the Renegades, which is surprising considering Renegades have been taking away the double AWP, though they have been able to keep the 2 AWPs for the majority of this time. Still, compLexity making their way out onto the B site. Azza, or they're out into mid, attempting to get to the B site. Though Azza is going to try and shut things down. Ricky will actually be able to take down Surreal, and JKS chiming in with one as well.
yeah, that leaves Ape all the way back on his lonesome here with the scout, and he's going to try and push into Ricky there, but a little bit difficult against the AWP. Ricky finds the frag, and Renegades bring it back to 5 and 7. They really need to be getting these next 3 rounds as well, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, probably. Renegades will definitely want to be getting towards 8, but I mean, if they can get to 7, I think they'll be pretty happy with how this first half has gone. They're not a bad T-side team, of course. And now the compLexity guys once again rushing out on towards that long area. The smoke keeping the vision obscured there for Renegades, and it does allow Uber to push through and pick up Yam. Well, there is a trade out, a 1-for-1 at the moment. Should favour compLexity, but Ape is very low, down to 16 HP. Similarly, Ustillo just lit up a little bit.
Yeah, we can see Ustillo holding back on cars right now. And looks like Azza is the only other player on that site. JKS was coming around from T-spawn, but Surreal have had their back covers there, and we'll pick him up. So I'm not sure whether this crossfire from Ustillo and Azza will be enough to hold this back. 1 minute and 5 on the clock. Should they choose to push, it'll be a 2v4.
Yeah, it is a good crossfire, but Azza's not really able to get the trade there, and he's going to be taken down as well. Surreal is actually going to kill his teammate Def, but in the end, it probably isn't going to hurt compLexity all that much. A 3 versus 1, probably a little bit much for Rookie here. Maybe if he can get 1 on the cross, he can come up with something, but doesn't even seem like he's going to be too interested in doing that. He'll just fall back to the B site, try and save this AWP.
Yeah, round's going to be 5 and 8 now. So maximum 7 here for the Renegades. We'll see what type of money they've got heading into round 14. It may not be great. Of course, they forced through to the previous round, so they weren't looking that good before then. And I guess it's just a matter of time, really. But only a few rounds left in this first half, and it's probably worth making a go of it. And again, forcing behind that AWP there on Ricky.
So 8 going to be on the board here for compLexity, and I think if Renegades let compLexity get to any more than 8, they're going to be a little disappointed. Renegades, I mean, they've got enough rounds at the moment to play with on their T side, definitely. But obviously, the more that they let compLexity get into this one, it's obviously going to increase the chance of a compLexity win, which really is not going to be something that Renegades would be too keen on, given that they probably would come into this one feeling like they were probably the favoured team. Well, there's still plenty of time left in this one for Renegades to come back into it. And it is going to be a bye again into this round for the Renegades. Again, the double AWP setup coming out. And I'm pretty sure every single gun round Renegades have played, they've had a double AWP.
I think you're right, to be honest. I think you're right. Certainly how they appear to be comfortable here on Dust2, although the results haven't been that great for them. See, it's not that different to what we've seen them do before here as well. Only 1, though, on this B site, and that's JKS. So, looks like they sent 1 AWP to mid there on Yam and 1 to long A. So, They might get a couple of spots out here onto them, pushing through into mid. And we'll see how much smoke they've got to work with. Ustilo down in CT gets a bit of damage down. They've spotted out those 3 players. Ricky's fallen all the way back. Sorry, Yam's fallen all the way back into B now, and they're going to push him anyway. Uber finds the frag. Ustilo picks up 1. It's now a 4 into 4.
And the bomb drop as well there
yeah,
from
that's
Ustilo.
good.
He gets a lot of damage over to Ape, who's on 6 HP, is able to clean it up with the USP in the end, and now 3 versus 3. The B site, though, in control for the compLexity guys, although the bomb has just been retrieved. Renegades would have loved to drop Def as he tried to jump out there and collect the bomb, but not going to happen. And now the tough job of retaking the B bomb site is the mission for the Renegades.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done, but surely it's worth making this effort. They need to try and make this 3v3 happen and get control of the site. Surreal going to be forced back onto the site from Upper Dark there. He finds a frag onto Azza straight away, and that leaves Ricky with the AWP. And a lot of work. He's on a 1v1 though, but in the end, Android finds him. And finally, all of the AWP is going to be removed from the hands here of Renegades.
Yep.
Ricky's going to have enough money to buy 1, but that will be that. So first gun round where they haven't been able to bring through all of them. They're going to force in, of course, being round number 15 here. And the potential here for a 10-5 first half for compLexity. That would be a great first half on the T side. JKS going to get smashed there through the wall.
Oh, great shot from Ricky. Gets a good start into this round for Renegades, and it is an important one here for Renegades just to get an extra round heading into that second half. It's really going to be important for them. Although Def is going to make it a little more difficult as he takes down Ustilo, and he does also manage to pick up Azza. Now a 3 versus 4 in the favor of compLexity, soon to be a 2v4 as JKS just pushing out into the waiting arms of Android X.
Yeah, compLexity playing very, very well up against Renegades at the moment. The Renegades players pushing forward very quickly, but not being able to trade out, pushing 1 and then 1, not really, you know, going in 2 at a time and trading it out. So that leaves Yam all by himself, and he should get cleaned up here. The score will be 5 and 10 heading into half-time. compLexity, yesterday, they were sitting at 12th spot. Now they're at 10th. Today, potentially, going to be going even further up the leaderboard. Def finding the last frag of the round here. Ladies and gents, we are going to take a very quick ad break, and we'll be back with the second half. Ladies and gents, we are back here. compLexity up against the Renegades, the Australians. They've had a great season, but not a great first half here as the CT side. They're now swapping over to the Ts. And compLexity, if they can grab this pistol round, will be in a very good position this first map.
Yeah, they definitely will, although they have a big stack of Renegades players rushing down long to deal with. The smoke is good there for the Renegades cross, and Surreal, as of yet, hasn't managed to get any through that smoke, so pretty good result there for the Renegades, and now they get onto that A-bomb site. The bomb should go down quite safely here for Yam. It's a good plant for both short and long, so lots of options here for Renegades if need be, but as of yet, haven't lost a single player, and the retake for compLexity is going to be quite difficult.
Yeah, looks like 2 coming through long, 3 through short here for compLexity. And Renegades really just ran through uncontested. JKS here at bedroom, ready to go. Finds one. They know he's there. Won't get the second. 8 finds the frag. Yam needs to swing around potentially. No, he won't. Azza finds that frag. And Android up on the site. Now in a 1v1 with Azza. And down from pit there.
It's a good plan for Azza. It's a
yeah, well,
really
he's got
tough.
the USP. So
yeah,
would have been a lot more difficult if he was holding on to a Glock instead.
Yeah, I mean, it still would have been winnable, really, for Azza. Android X was just not in a good position there to find anything. He did have a smoke, so maybe...
Yeah.
Actually, did he? I think he might have just picked up that
it
smoke.
up.
But someone had a smoke on compLexity before that retake happened. Regardless, a round goes the way of Renegades, and a couple of Mac 10s going to be coming out for them, and they'll be happy to win that pistol round there, but definitely still a lot more work to do here in this second half.
Yeah, a lot of work, and we'll see Ricky picking up the scout to start this off. Deagles, CZ coming out here for compLexity, but no armor, and that means that Azza should be able to just push on through and find a couple of frags. Leaves Android and Ape on the B site by themselves. Yastillo pushing in from behind as well. He might be keen to find a couple of free kills up here, should they choose to rotate back around through him maybe. But the bomb plant should go down with ease here on to the A bomb site, and Renegades will be able to pick up 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, a couple of easy rounds there for Renegades, really. But definitely the challenge has not yet started here in this second half. compLexity haven't, of course, had a buy, and well, looks like Renegades just keen to try and take some more guns out of the hands and, well, get rid of those Deagles for compLexity. Not going to work out too well. So we're going to see Ricky going down. Azza will be able to clean up Ape, though, with the Mac 10. He's also going to be looking for Android X, and this would be the big prize, really, for Renegades. Get that kit and the armor and the smoke, everything out of compLexity's hands. And it is going to go the way of Yam. So 3 guns still there for the Renegades, and they take their 2 AKs through to the next round as well. They'll be quite pleased with that.
Yeah, that's all they really needed to do there was bring those 2 rifles through. And looks like we'll be finding a few more Mac 10s for them as well. Ricky finds a Mac 10 for himself. So 3 AKs, 2 Mac 10s up against essentially a full eco coming out from compLexity. Just a couple of nades for them. And just holding back at the moment. They're not going to form any sort of rush, but Def going to go down straight away. Looks like it's going to be a 3-stack on the A side for the CTs, but the B side is what is open. Mid to B, easily done here. Ape going to fire a couple of shots, but he gets forced out as well. That leaves Android X23 all by himself here on the A site. Ricky going to have a go at him from range there with the Mac 10. That's my favourite Mac 10 skin, by the way. Neon Rider, a bit of outrun going on.
Well, Azza in the end will be able to pick up Android X. So another good round coming out for Renegades. They'll be able to fully buy into this one. And of course, compLexity will be doing the same. Just a single AWP setup for the Renegades on their T side. Looks like, yeah, no, Ricky will actually be taking that one away, sorry. So no surprises there for Renegades. See if he's going to try and pick the cross, and he is. He's not going to have any luck, though. Doesn't manage to even do any damage over to any of those compLexity players. But it's a quick entry in towards B from the Renegades. They've got 2 players to deal with. It's a good smoke to delete that Molotov from compLexity. Although now they have to deal with the Cole players, and it's Ape and Android X to find one apiece. Only a couple players here for the Renegades on the B site, and they're going to be shut down by Android X as well. Great stuff on that hold for the compLexity players.
Yeah, the Renegades deciding to use their first gun round here, or their first, real round of the match, gun v gun round, to rush onto the B site, and the flash really is what caught them off guard. They smoked well, as you said, but they got through the doors, and that was that. They didn't even get a chance to fire off any real convincing shots there. You can see Android X picked up 3 frags, and that leaves Ricky with an AWP that he's going to try and hold on to with a minute of time to work with. So, not sure whether compLexity going to try and chase this down. They should know he's got the AWP. It doesn't matter because he's coming to them. And Def in a good position to either bait out a frag or find a frag. He gets it. Easy.
He does, and it's a very good round there for compLexity. They've been able to secure the second AWP into it as well. Ricky has dropped that one over to compLexity, and now is when really the pressure is going to start to mount for the Renegades, because this is a very important round for them. Their economy is not looking that crash hot. And, well, to be honest, compLexity looked very good in the first gun round on their CT side. So, Ricky, let's see if he can get the cross this time. Again, it doesn't manage to land it. This time, though, Renegade's going to be heading over towards the long area. Counter flash is coming out for compLexity just to slow things down. The smoke not so great there for Renegades.
No, not so great, and we can see the two AWPs coming out now for compLexity on the CT side. So Renegade's going to have to be very careful with which way they decide to peek here. Ricky still watching into mid, but there's no one there. There's two on B. There's one in CT pushing into mid now. That's Def with an AK, and he's going to get caught out or perhaps find a couple of frags here, depending on how Renegades play this. Ricky is looking in with the AWP, but is he going to see the player? That's the real question. The smoke comes out and they just run on through. Surely Def pushes through now and finds a frag. From behind, JKS actually takes him out. But Yam goes down. Ustilo finds Ape. Ustilo gets killed. And now it's a 2-on-1. JKS by himself. The bomb goes down. He's on 46 HP. He's got one Molotov. And he needs to find these two frags.
Important round here for JKS because, well, Renegades with their backs against the wall at the moment. And we know JKS is such a good clutch player. So many times he's been able to pull it through for the Renegades. But this time, he's only got 46 HP to work with, and as you say, just the single Molotov, which has now been used, he's being pincered on by both of these compLexity players, needs to find the 1v1. At the moment, it looks like he's watching up a tunnel. He's going to be able to spot out Uber as he pushes in, and he does take that one down now. It's just down to a 1v1. Surreal trying to find the frag and does manage to do so, I think, just in time to get the defuse here. Oof. Not quite enough there for JKS.
No, not enough, but compLexity now 12-8. Really starting to take this game away from the Renegades. And look, I don't know, when we saw them start on the CT side, they started off pretty averagely, the Australians, but they brought it back. They had some good gun rounds. They were looking like they were in form, but it really hasn't been impressive since then, since compLexity worked out how to beat that double AWP against the CT side. And now, as Renegades are trying to get the bomb plant down themselves, they're really struggling here to get through unscathed.
They definitely are struggling a little bit here on that T side. compLexity will be probably looking at 13-8 at this point, which is going to be a bit of a mountain, really, for Renegades to climb back onto. It's certainly doable. Still, we'll have to see something a little bit more impressive from the Renegades coming out on their T side if they are to do that. Surreal will start off onto Ricky as also, I'm going to be dropped down to 28.
Yeah, any sort of success probably not going to come out here on this eco round for the Renegades. They're going to get dropped one by one. Almost finds a shot there onto JKS, and in the end swaps over to the USP, which is a little bit easier, perhaps, to make that shot when you've got a few more rounds in a row to work with. They managed to pick up both Def and Android X23, so that's not the end of the world, but Surreal should find Ustilo here. He does. And now 13-8 is the score. compLexity 3 rounds away from picking up this first map here on Dust2. As we said earlier, Renegades probably thought that they could come into this game and they should have success.
Yeah, they definitely would have, although compLexity would be not feeling terrible about this. I mean, Renegades is obviously not the strongest of opponents that they could be up against. So definitely they would have come into this one thinking they can win as well. Both teams would have been reasonably confident heading into it. But at the moment, it's all going compLexity's way. 13-8 is the scoreline. And compLexity have not looked all that good, all that bad, really, on the CT side so far. Yeah. Renegades have just been shaky so far on the T side, but again, another buy round coming out, and this time, once again, heading towards the B side, which has been so difficult to get into. Android X has been holding on to that one very well for compLexity, but there you go, a free frag for Yam. He'll be very pleased with that one.
The Renegades been forced to hold here in Upper Dark for quite a while now. There was only Android up the back of that B site for a very long time. It allowed Ape to come across from CT up through mid and into the B site to just to reinforce. But with that, it leaves Surreal all by himself here down on ramp, heading towards the A site, and it's going to be a B push here coming out from Renegades with 54 seconds on the clock. Let's see if what Surreal can do. Maybe he can find a double. He's actually going to fall back just to the edge there. Gets a shot off, but doesn't find the frag onto Yam. They're going to push out now. The smokes are down. He does get one, but that's all it's going to be. The bomb plant should go down, and now they're in a 3v4. Make that a 3v3 as Def finds a crucial frag to even up the scores here. And he's got a molly as well. He's going to get forced out by one.
Post plants are good here for Renegades. JKS has run all the way down through long, and he's going to come around behind the back of all these compLexity players. And, well, maybe the Renegades won't even need it as Ricky's just cleaned up a couple of the compLexity players. JKS will clean up that final kill. And finally a good round on the board there for Renegades on the T side. They keep 3 guns into this round. And they'll be able to buy those extra couple. compLexity will be probably looking to buy into this one. No, actually, they don't have that much money. So Surreal might just drop a couple of pistols. See if they can get a bit of something going on in this eco.
Yeah, that was a good round for the Renegades. They showed a lot of patience there. They waited for quite a while outside the top of B. And they saw the players cross. They had a good idea of numbers on the site. And they used it to their advantage to gain access to the A site, essentially uncontested. This time, it looks like it's going to be a B push, and we can see the Ape there. He's only got a P250, so he's going to struggle to do much. He actually does find one frag, finds 2! Great work there on the P250. Can he get a 3rd? Wow. He does! He should not be able to do this. The Renegades getting slaughtered. That's 4! That's 4 for Ape. Will this be?
What?
He gets... Oh my god, he gets the ace with a P250. No armor. The Renegades throw themselves at him one by one.
Well.
And a pause here coming out from Renegades. And I think, mate, you can't do that.
You can't let that happen.
You can't do that and then expect to win the game. You cannot do that. You can't do it.
This has to be a Renegades pause, right?
Well,
they'll come into this one and be like, boys.
Look, it's not a tactical pause. It's a tech pause because clearly all our monitors are off because none of us saw him.
Clearly, they forgot Mouse 1 was a thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mouse 1 not working. Please help.
Boy, oh boy. Well, that's really, you know, it's like the story of my life watching Renegades. Really, it's like they look like they're doing good in a round, and then the next round they just get absolutely smashed for no reason at all. And well. Yeah, look, they've looked so good coming into this one, but really, Renegades are just struggling up against compLexity here. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Streaky is the word I'd use to explain Renegades to probably someone who's never watched them before. Like they have moments of brilliance where they just look like one of the best teams in the world, and
then they lose to someone
a week later. They just look really bad
with the P250 and no armor.
Yeah,
a little bit unfortunate for them. The game is not over, but. Look, it's getting very, very close to being at that point. And to be fair, to me, that one round is essentially a summary of this game here. compLexity coming through when they need to with the goods, picking up frags, Renegades. I praise them for one good round of patience, and that round, there was no patience. They just pushed through and all died.
Well, Renegades are now going to have to do much the same thing to compLexity as what was just done to them. With only the pistols, they will have to find a round here if they really want to have any hope of taking out this first map in a convincing fashion. Well, I say convincing, it wouldn't be convincing even if they did win 16-14, to be fair. But, yeah, best case scenario, really, you have to say for Renegades at this stage is going to be going to overtime.
And even that is looking like it's not a particularly good chance. Maybe they can get to the A site. Def is here by himself. Should they choose to push now, they've got a chance. They only have one flashbang, though. And I'm sure Def would love to find a few frags there onto his M4.
Well, difficult time now for the Renegades, as it has got a flashbang, so potentially just going to flash them up into the A-bomb site. But really, it's going to be a difficult one here for Renegades. Let's see what they can do. Def holding on to that A site with the M4. He's going to find one. Surreal in the meanwhile did grab another one. And now the Renegades, of course, just falling apart here a little bit. Although, Ustillo's picked up a couple of kills. It's JKS in a 2v1. He's got a close angle here, and he will be able to pick up Uber. Now it's a 1v1. The M4 in the hands of JKS. Suddenly, things may be coming alive here for Renegades.
Well, Elfish guy's coming alive because you're getting excited, and rightfully so. This is a chance for them to bring it back, but JKS needs to play this very well, and he's not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. Just getting caught out there on the left side. He wasn't aware, perhaps, that Android was there ready to go. They'll get the defuse and 15 rounds on the board. Renegades here going to force them to the next round. They should have some decent cash. They do. But, look, they just need to win that gun round. They need to not get aced by P250.
There's nothing you could say that makes it good for Renegades. There's no way they should have lost that round, and as a result, they're going to be losing the first map, you would think.
It's almost...
Seems that way.
It's almost a foregone conclusion. here for the Australians. Unfortunately, they have another map to play with after this, but I don't know. You have to compose yourself, surely, after going down like that.
Well, somehow they're going to have to compose themselves heading into the second map here. But, well, I guess the first map's not over just yet. Renegades still have one more shot at this, but this is the final straw. compLexity, if they pick this one up, they will be winning 16-9. Renegades trying to let that not be a possibility. And JKS, actually no, Azza is the one to start off onto Def.
Well, they're both 3 letters.
That's,
so.
yeah, just got me caught.
Yeah. We can see them pushing on to short at the moment as well. And 1 minute remaining on the clock. They have a player advantage. And they should be able to get onto this A site, get the bomb plant down. compLexity, they'll have to decide if they want to retake here. And Uber might find Ustilla. He does. So now that the players are evened up, the bomb plant goes down. And it doesn't look to me like compLexity want to retake this at all. They're happy to give Renegades this round and hold on to their weapons heading into the next one. They only need to find one more.
Yeah.
We've got another 5 rounds to do it, so this should be easy peasy here for compLexity.
Yeah, compLexity pretty content just to let Renegades have this one. They're not too bothered by it at all, and they'll take essentially what's going to be a full buy into the next round as well for the CT side. So, I mean, Renegades, they survive for one more round, but really, how much longer can they count on that? Going to have a pretty monster final 5 rounds here if they want to take it to 15-15, because so far they have just looked a little shaky on that T side so far. Ricky taking down Uber, that's actually quite useful. It's going to force compLexity to just have a bit less of a buy into this one. Maybe just a couple of pistols coming out for the remaining 2 compLexity members. So, I mean, the compLexity buy now suddenly looking just a little bit weaker. Actually, looks like Uber's going to drop an M4 over to Def. So, yeah, what could have been a full buy for compLexity now just running away with 1 pistol on Uber. See whether or not Renegades are going to be able to negotiate this one.
Looks like they're going to go into a bit of a default setup here on attack. Just trying to find a frag in. Maybe find that patience that has been useful for them when they've been winning rounds, as opposed to just rushing on in and all dying, which has been far less successful, to be perfectly honest. We can see that Uber is sitting down here with the CZ at the moment. He's got, you know, nothing really to work with after getting picked up last round and running out of time. It just didn't work for him, obviously. So, that was a crucial frag coming out from Renegades as well. That helps for Surreal, for compLexity. Yam goes down, and now they do have that player advantage. Short has been where they've been finding a couple of easy plants onto the A site, and Surreal just getting up the back there and just holding them back and making them work for it this time around.
Does look like Renegades are going to be defaulting back to that B bomb site, which as of yet hasn't really been the best of sites for them. compLexity have looked very good. In particular, Android X has been very strong on that B site here. Let's see what he can do holding off this assault from the Renegades. It's actually going to be 8 to find 1. In the end, he finds 2, and that's compLexity picking it up. 16-10 in the way of the Americans. Australians currently not having the best of times in that one.
No, certainly not a pretty average game, to be perfectly honest, coming out from Renegades. I think they're going to have to take a step back, go to the drawing board for next map.
Like, they could have won it. There's so many times where we've watched games where Renegades could have won it, and they just throw it away with one really bad round. And
do you know what? All I can't get out of my head. So there's that video, right, of Renegades going 16-0. It goes
yeah.
All I can see is those frags, like 1, 2, like bump, just 5 of them synced.
Someone's going to make
to a P250. You add it to the end of that video.
Although it wasn't a 16-0, so.
No, it wasn't. But it was an eco ace. We'll stop bagging on the Renegades, and we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with our next map between compLexity and the Australians here. We'll see if it'll be a different story.